Cool. Hello, good morning, everyone. Hi, this is Abhijit, and welcoming you to the Misfits finale. We're very happy to host all of you again this year. It's been a wonderful regional pitch competitions that we had. Just to give you all a background again, so Misfits is our initiative to find the most impactful change makers from South Asia. This year, we are supported by One Impact, Will Grow, Crowdera, and Impact Pod. Uh, just to give you a background about Brooks Ecosystem Foundation, we are a think tank that's been seeding innovation ecosystems. Uh, I'm sorry for the noise at the back. uh, and our purpose has been primarily to foster innovation ecosystems and support knowledge sharing in the community. We support people, we support entrepreneurs through creating ecosystems of different stakeholders and provide them with the relevant knowledge to grow in their lives. We have this saying internally that it's not about ideas, but about making those ideas happen. And our sole reason for existence is to support these entrepreneurs in making their ideas happen. Misfits, as you know, it's a virtual pitch event that happens across different regions in South Asia, primarily to create a platform for social innovators, change makers, and to really connect with each other and showcase the phenomenal work that they've been doing. While we started as a pitch event, it has grown into much larger than that. It has grown into a community of people that are seeding ecosystems, that are creating impact. And there's so much collaboration that has already happened since the past year. We move across these different regions in South Asia and are supported by phenomenal set of global partners that enable us to execute this impact initiative. Without much delay, I'll ask my colleague Apurva to take over and introduce the panelists that are here with us to share their learnings.
Thank you, Abhijit. Hello, everyone. I'm Apurva from Team Vriksh. Now let us move ahead to the panel discussion. Welcome to all the esteemed panelists. Glad to have you all here. In the first panel, we have Ashish Pergi, founder and CEO at MASH Foundation. MASH Foundation is a social enterprise committed to building a global community of social change makers working in diverse business domains. Their aim is to deliver high quality social impact through various initiatives. Welcome, Mr. Ashish. Next, we have Amrita Haldipur. She is a co-founder at Raha. Raha is a woman-founded social enterprise that helps grow the artisan economy through innovative solutions. She is an impact entrepreneur with specialization in corporate and social impact in global and hyperlocal brands in India. The third panelist, Mr. Pratik Gadkar, is not present due to some issues. Now I would request our host, Mr. Kiran Reddy, Managing Director at Helm of 8, to host the panel discussion on educating on problem solving and creativity. Over to you, Kiran.
Thanks, Apurva. Hi, Ashish. Hi, Amrita. Thank you, Misfits team, for pushing this forward. Second year virtually. It's not been easy, but I'm pretty sure that you guys have come out with some very interesting innovations from South Asia, and we hope that we'll get to see some good pitches today. So it's not easy usually setting the tone in the morning, but let's start with some good energy. How's our dear panelists doing? Hi, Amrita.
Hi. Doing really well. I just got myself some coffee. So yeah, I'm well.
Where are you based, Amrita?
I'm in Bombay.
Oh, lovely. What about you, Ashish?
Hi, everybody. Good morning. I'm based in Delhi. And thanks for having me. Really excited for this. Yeah.
Ashish, I thought you would have defied physics by now, man. With the kind of work that you're doing, how are you omnipresent across so many places? I think Abhijit also wants to come. And Abhijit, come. We have a third panelist space.
Yeah. I think it's just a sheer passion of the love for the work that you would like to, try to do whatever best you could do and work with some amazing people like all of you. So yeah, that's what keeps us going.
So before we dive into the theme, I usually like to give the audience a personal flavor of the panelists. So if you don't mind spending a minute just talking about where you're coming from and a little bit about yourself, and then take another further 30 seconds to talk about the work that you're doing. But 1 minute for personal, 30 seconds for organization. And if you're pitching, I'll come in.
Ashish, you want to start?
Sure, Amrita. So, hi everyone. I am been running MASH for almost about 8 years now. Always been passionate about creating something that's creates creates a sustainable impact and creates value. So started my journey as a young volunteer, deeply interested in the climate change issues. So I did something in waste management in my undergrad, which turned out to be a social enterprise. So that experience helps me to realize as a young person, if I could do this, a lot of my other peers. That's how, the initial seeds of MASH began. And over the last few years, we've, taken some baby steps towards creating more enabling ecosystem for young change makers, young social entrepreneurs. So yeah, that's a little bit about myself. In terms of the work that we do, like I said, creating an enabling ecosystem, we do a lot of capacity development, community development, campaigns, to help create the stories of these change makers to a larger audience, right? So yeah, that's a quick, short pitch of myself and the work we do.
Thanks, Ashish.
Yeah.
Thank you, Ashish. Hi, everyone. My name is Amrita Haldipur, and I'm based in Bombay. I'm one of the co-founders of Raha. My other co-founder is Radhika, based in the US. As far as a little bit about what I have done in my life, so creativity and design thinking, I didn't even know design thinking as a word existed. I think it has always been a part of what I have been as a person and a professional. I have I've gone through a major career transition from studying commerce to communications to PR, then marketing, and then finally the path of realizing that my heart really lies in doing work where the corporate and impact come together and become a force of good. Right. And I think like a fun fact is that I have always been an avid traveler. And because of that, art, craft, culture have been a part of what I have been, doing and involved myself in from a very young age, from college days. Eventually, then my last corporate role was I was heading marketing for National Geographic in India. So whenever I used to, in any capacity, travel and be exposed to the grassroots communities, I used to always feel why aren't there enough platforms that bring these up to people who are consumers and would like to engage with them? It's just that I never knew in what capacity I will work and how I can do that. But last year during COVID, we saw how a lot of artisans were looking for the right opportunity to get more business orders. And that's how Raha came into being. So yeah, today I'm sitting at a place where, because of being open to creativity and problem solving and design thinking, I've been able to blend my passion and my profession together through Raha. So that's
Amrita, I tell you something interesting. That's the world's a really small place. I know Radhika very well. We met in the US a few months ago. So
oh, wow.
Picture with Radhika. I was just remembering.
Oh my God. Wow. That's such a small world.
Yeah. I think she did mention about you. I remember talking to her about you. So yeah.
Yes.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I think we've set the tone for our further conversation, and picking up from where you began, Amrita, and then I'll come back to you, Ashish, is about, you said a couple of words which would be helpful for the audience to understand. A is, I believe you've come from an interdisciplinary thought process. You've given creativity a lot of breathing space. It's not come from a very formal approach, but rather a bottom-up understanding of the problems that the communities were facing, the opportunities in the market. And you use the phrase design thinking. Now, different people use these phrases differently. What does this mean for you? And in terms of that process and trusting that process, because when you're going into it, you don't know what you're going to come out on the other end, right? So how did you navigate that space early on? and what were your food for thought? What were the motivators? Who were the mentors or advisors? If you could share a little bit of light around the context in which you approached that process.
Sure. Thank you. That's a really lovely question. And I wish for more people to talk about this. So I think for me, I'm a very intuitive, I really, I'm a very heart-led person. I always say that I build hearty brands. I want to build hearty businesses, right? So for people like that, I mean, I just went with my gut, Kiran. I think, I think I went more, for me, work is all about having fun along with building things which are, for business and doing things like that. I honestly, I remember back in the day when I was studying BCom, I didn't have a mentor or I didn't go for career counseling. I used to be sitting in tax classes and all I could think of was working for UNICEF. Or working for Red Cross. I mean, back in the day, I didn't even have exposure to that, but my heart was, and I knew very clearly I wanted to do communications. I didn't know where it was coming from, but it was just something that I'd held on to for really, really long in my early years. All I did though, at that point in time was, and that's one tip I want to give while I'm saying this, is just being aware of my environment and picking up cues of what the environment is providing me at this point in time for my curiosity. And at that point in time, Times of India had something called as Education Times. I used to read Education Times cover to cover, right? And go to all the career fests and really expose myself to different kinds of career workshops. And the second thing is start going and meeting people, the cold calls that we talk about, not being afraid and saying that I don't know this, but I want to learn. I'm really passionate about it. Can I start? And I think that put me on a path where eventually I started meeting amazing set of people. So before that, I had a lot of fear. Why will someone who's at the top of a business or a company give someone like me time, but there are people, when they see the passion in you and what you want to do, and sometimes it's okay if you don't even know what you want to do, but there are good people to help you out there. All you need to do is go out and start talking to the right people in areas that you're interested in it. And I think that's how I was able to stitch a lot of this jigsaw puzzle of my career. And initially there was a lot of self-doubt. I will not say it was so easy and smooth sailing. It continues to be sometimes, you're sort of wondering, am I on the right path? Not now as much, but maybe till some time ago. But I think the whole thing is then the support system of a good community, right? A support system of, can I have more peers who are on the same path as me? Can I be part of entrepreneurial ecosystems who share and build entrepreneurs like me who come from different career transition sort of, phases? I think those are some of those blocks of building a more transition-led career and finally doing more of what I'm doing. Now, when it comes to what made me realize the impact and why my commitment to impact grew was there was one project that I did the moment I started working independently. So when I was in Nagio, when I was at the top of it was a great role, I had started asking myself a very deep question. I was in that very self-actualization sort of a phase of being a marketer where I was like, what is impact for me? What is impact for me as a marketer? Is it enough for me that people watch shows of what I'm creating and marketing, or is something more? And I realized I was always a very people-focused, people-centric person. I thrive in people's energies. And I wanted to go deeper to the grassroots. I just, again, followed my gut. And one of the first projects that I worked on was for the Hunger Project, where I actually went on ground and I documented the work of women sarpanchs across Rajasthan. And oh my God, like if there is one of those projects which changed the worldview of what work is for me, it was that project. Because I was like, who am I to complain about the things sitting here? Look at the stuff they sit in and the kind of transformation and development they are doing. Why aren't we hearing? Like sitting in Bombay, I would love to hear more of their stories. So can I be the messenger of these people and bring their stories and their work to the businesses and stakeholders in urban centers? So I think that really became like one of those cornerstone moments in my career when I started independently. And since then, it's been no looking back. consulting just kept thriving, and then finally Raha happened. So yeah.
Awesome. There's so much richness with what you shared. I think the intuitive process is a cornerstone that most people follow, that like life is calling, do you answer? And not being afraid to put yourself out there and be vulnerable. I think there is a dearth of safe spaces, but if you are able to create that for yourself or gain access to that, I think it's a huge privilege, given the kind of environments that we are in, especially in the startup. There's one problem. We have a binary problem, which is you're either non-profit or you're for-profit. Purpose-driven organization, social entrepreneurship, all of this, thanks to platforms like these, actually come to the forefront that it's not just startups. There is more to that story. Do you, like, instead of asking how much money you're making, ask why this organization exists, and then measure it not according to some yardstick of scale, but actually look at whether it's going to the depth of the matter or it's actually expanding consciousness in some way.
Yeah.
And
so sorry, just to add to that, one thing is, I really feel, when we started Raha, I think for both Radhika and me, one of the things which we felt very strongly about was bringing in a certain business focus to the world of handmade and artisan economy, which is traditionally in India been looked in a very non-profit way. And there's nothing wrong about it, like companies can continue to be, enterprises can continue to be non-profit as a legal entity. That's absolutely fine. But why shouldn't people in the sector think about building businesses, think about, having profit, and think about, a little more of a salesmanship and marketing focus to whatever they are building? I think that is the spotlight we wanted to bring in with Raha to a sector which is traditionally, and so kind of continues to be looked at as only as a, non-profit sort of a way,
giving people livelihood.
Sorry?
Giving people livelihood. I think.
Yeah, so giving people livelihood is a business force of, for good, which needs to be owned up by more people, and it shouldn't be siloed. So yeah, I'm with you when you say that.
Thanks. All right, Ashish, can we have you back?
Sure. Yes, please.
So Ashish, when it comes to MASH, you guys are, like, you went from being a social entrepreneur, I mean, you're still a social entrepreneur, but you created a platform, you created an environment where you can nurture more youth. Tell me, why youth? Why not the rest of the sector?
I think because when I personally, being a young person, when I started, I was still in my high school undergrad, right? So I feel like that's a time and age where you pick up a lot of ideas, you pick up a lot of skills, which are very critical in your journey becoming a change maker henceforth, right? And there is so much work to do in that particular space. And being India, one of the largest youth population, that's a huge potential that we have, an asset that we have as a country. So if that's channelized, that's untapped, I think we can do some really amazing stuff, right? So yeah, we found our niche from a personal journey point of view to a match with the need that's out there. And I think in the last few years, I'm very excited that so much work on youth has now been happening at a very large level, from UN agencies to leading nonprofits to corporates. Everybody's focusing on young people, right? So, and even the governments for that matter. So yeah, I think it's a simple question, like why?
No, I mean, I'm all for it. I'm just playing devil's here. The second thing, Ashish, is that you have done both bottom up and top down. How do you balance this? And how does your mindset shift when you're engaging with each of these stakeholders? Because youth, unexposed, needing guidance, needing handholding, while people who are set in their ways have to understand the potential of the work that is, again, a third component that you're creating outside, using these two forces. What's the blend? What's the balance? How does that recipe cookbook look like?
Yeah, I think we just need a space where people can come and exchange ideas and share. So we started doing that through some events called Mash Mixers, where we will set up a casual setting in a co-working space over an evening, coffee, drinks, so that allows people to remove barriers, right? As a young person, you can go and talk to anybody, right? So free-flowing ideas, free-flowing exchange of, thoughts and building that real connections, right? So I think we need more spaces which allows such collaborative environments in the impact sector. And I think there's a lot of good work that's happening. So we need to create more partnerships and collaboration so everybody can complement on each other's strengths. Yeah.
Thanks, Ashish. I think my line of questioning was the informal and the formal, right? Now, how you've managed to blend that into your organic, intuitive, curiosity-driven environments, and how does it move from that environment? Say two people meet or a couple of group is formed around a particular issue or a topic. How much do you nudge from the back end? How much of it is coming from within the participants?
Yeah.
How does this? How do you match demand supply?
Right. So I think again, so with mixers, it's very curated from events. So we started doing those offline meetups. So let's say which has a particular focus. So let's say healthcare, right, or climate change, right? So we'll have very selected audience from that particular domain only. It could be from different domains. I mean, like from in terms of the stakeholder group, right? They could be policymakers, they could be corporates, they could be civil society organizations, social enterprises, nonprofits, academia, right? So we will bring like some of the key stakeholders from all these backgrounds, and have young people who are either already doing something or are particularly interested in that particular sector, right? So when you have people with common interests who are like-minded, right? So a lot that happens in that 2-3 hour of conversation, right? So I think that's how to answer your, how do we, nudge it or create it? I think it's all about building that communities. And from there on, it's a community effect also, because those people find value, they recommend. So that's how you organically grow community. And we also keep some design behind this program. We just don't put people in a room and, hey, go talk to each other. So there is a thought process in terms of how do we create that exchange of ideas among different people as well, right? So we map them before coming, what's their need, why they're coming from, who are the relevant people to meet in the room. That's how the process begins, and then it kind of goes natural, right? And then we also map how these exchange of ideas are helping create something tangible going long run, right? So I think a lot of that is now gone digital, so that allows us to expand more, like be able to go sort of length and breadth across the geographies in terms of reaching out to many more stakeholders. So yeah, need again, emphasis is creating more collaborative, enabling ecosystems. Yeah.
Thanks, Ashish. Amrita, I think there is a common thread here, which is the power of communities, and when you work and engage in those environments, how the process kind of evolves as you go along. Fabulous. What's been the COVID effect on terms of accessibility to your communities, working with these communities? Digital, do you see it coming back? Do you see apprehension? It would be lovely to hear a little bit from both of you in terms of how COVID realities affected the way you're working and how much of that you're continuing forward, and do you also see yourself going back to the physical?
Should I start? Okay, so for us, we were born in COVID. So we don't have a pre-COVID story. Everything is during COVID and post-COVID. We definitely came into being because of the community, right? Because we saw that the artisan communities had such rich, creative, cultural knowledge, by virtue of which they were making products. I mean, they continue to make beautiful handmade products, or have new revenue streams that can help them, that can help strengthen the livelihoods of artisan communities. We initially started with doing a lot of training workshops for the artisans. We started the Artisan Shop, which was a non-profit collaboration with Lumen Hand. But eventually the story is that we now have launched our core business offerings as Raha, which is trying to be the medium that is like a B2B medium, which brings corporates and the world of handmade together. And we're doing this by having just launched corporate gifting. So you could be any corporate looking at any gifting needs. We want you to consider a sustainable way of gifting, because the rise of conscious consumerism is we all know, is globally, like on a big high. And we want you to consider handmade products made by artisans, which your consumers and the relationships that you are building with as corporates can strengthen. So corporate gifting is one. And the other thing that we have launched is digital workshops by artisans. So during COVID, the revenue stream of artisans teaching their craft to people got them a second line of income, and we want to be able to scale this for the artisans in the communities. So what we've also launched is something called as Learn, which means that doing more employee engagement workshops. In fact, we did one for LinkedIn, which was at an APAC level, APAC level employees, where there was a Madhubani artist who taught the employees how to create there was a Madhubani art that they all did together during the workshop. She showed them her studio. She spoke about the art. It was beautiful because, and there was a lot of youth in that cohort. So their curiosity to know about the art, the traditional folk art, was so high. So this has given us another opportunity and a validation that there is a big need for us to be able to scale this and take it to the businesses. So these are the two things that now we have launched as our core business products.
So that's lovely. Your answer to my question is primarily that we are COVID ready when we launched, in the sense that you launched during COVID, and you're beautifully weaving the grassroots artists with technology and being the intermediary that connects with supply.
And this is all, Kiran, been done virtually, right? It's a virtual team working across time zones, working with artisans across India. So everything has been possible because of digital access, right? I mean, so it's been beautiful because of that, yeah.
Thanks, Amrita. Ashish, any comments from you in terms of MASH and the way you guys have been functioning?
So a lot of our work has been offline, pre-COVID. So we had a huge hit. Most of the programs got halted. We don't know what to do. So I think first few days were pretty, I would say, difficult in terms of navigating a path. But then also there was a big need which was arising in terms of relief work, and we support a lot of innovations, youth-led innovations. So we created an initiative called covidaction.in, which it's a discovery platform for young people to put out there what they want to do, even if they want to volunteer, right? And match them with the right sort of people and organizations, right, who can use that, right? So that picked up some momentum. And then we also organized a couple of sessions around what are the future skills career, because we realized a lot of our community, young volunteers, young people who work with us, were really skeptical about where they're, in terms of higher education plan, career plans, right? So we did that, then a few of other programs around mental health, right? So I think we realized the need of the hour. And we were also awarded by Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation last year for this particular effort through an award that they give to for young youth-led organizations every year, called Goalkeepers Global Goals Award. So that effort was recognized for the campaign that we had done during that period, right? Then a lot of our work moved digital. I think we quickly figured out how we can still continue working with our communities through digital platforms. I think we very well adapted through that means, but we also realized the challenges that comes along with it. So we're also waiting how we can again move into a more hybrid offline sort of a mode, but keeping, of course, not overlooking the benefits of having a digital reach, because it of course allows you to scale much faster, right? I would also like to, I don't know, Kiran, if you're allowed to.
Yeah, please. We can take the question in the chat.
By Dr. Pallavi Roy. So I was just typing an answer, but I thought it'd be easier to just speak it out. So thanks for your question. I think it's a great question. So as a social enterprise, Dr. Pallavi, when we started, we were a nonprofit. Over the time, we've become a hybrid organization. So we do have a for-profit arm, which does a lot of project work. We do design, execute programs, projects with different partners, right? That's one definitely source of revenue, which for self-sustaining ourselves. As a non-profit, of course, there are non-profit social enterprises, and there are quite a few of them and doing some really amazing work, right? And there are non-profit, dedicated non-profit incubators also now supporting such initiatives, right? So grants and your, I would say there are other different kinds of means, donations, grants, philanthropic foundations, right? Who have a specific focus, who can definitely help you sustain your nonprofit work that you're doing, right? So do look up some of the programs which support dedicated nonprofit models. Like I think Nudge Foundation runs a program called Encore, which is purely focused on nonprofit startups, right? Similar to those, there are quite a few others as well. So yeah, I hope that answered your question.
Yes, thank you so much, Ashish.
We have time for maybe 2 quick questions. And if you want to put it in the chat, unmute yourself, raise your hand, however you want. Raise questions, or else I continue. Okay. While people figure out what to ask you, I think I have one final question for both of you. Feel free to take it as you're comfortable. How do you see the recent phenomenon of growth of consumerism, of consciousness with regards to active consumption? Now there's sustainability as a theme, there's climate action as a theme. COP26 was a big letdown for us. Not that we are surprised, but this SDG goals that we've set for ourselves, 2030 as a ticking time bomb, and in terms of how you take this in your community, Ashish and Amrita, with terms of the opportunity you see with 200 million artisans, the second largest workforce in this country of ours, and in terms of the dire straits that they had, and then now that we're coming back into market. What are the opportunities that you're seeing? What are the threats that you're seeing? What's the kind of support that you think is accessible, but not enough entrepreneurs who are taking, or there are more entrepreneurs, but not enough supply? Use this as an opportunity to speak to that matter. That what, according to you, is the critical thing that we need to be doing right, or which we are doing right?
Should I go first, Amrita? That's okay.
Yeah,
Sure, thank you.
please.
So I think 2030, of course, is the decade of action, as we call it, right? So there's so much focus in the work that's happening around at all levels, right? So which is a great shift, which is a great move, right? There are, just to mention, like as an entrepreneur, so there's so many opportunities that opens up, right? So even if COP26 you're talking about, regardless of the commitments which are being made by the governments and the corporations, right? So if you look at how there's a shift towards awareness in terms of adoption, in terms of the green economy, and the whole technology is booming, right? So that's definitely opening a lot of doors. Even from an investment standpoint, look at how much focus is on the ESG space and so on and so forth. So I definitely say it's a great time if you are looking to work in the social enterprise space, or your work directly relates to one of the SDGs or one or more of the SDGs, right? Where the opportunities lie, there are look at for the programs like which are focused on supporting entrepreneurs with SDGs focus, right? I see Richa is here, Makers Asylum does some amazing work. They're running a school program, I believe. So Richa can talk about more. Then, there is Unleash, which is, I've been part of the Unleash community for the last few years. It's one of the largest, and India is the host for next year's Unleash. So that again is a great place to meet some like-minded people from across the world, right? And the good thing about programs like these is that you meet a lot of like-minded community, right? So that's where you get great ideas, you learn from each other. And that's been one of my very, I would say, fundamental learning, is that being in this domain, being in this sector, it's again emphasizing the role of communities. It's extremely important, because sometimes it gets lonely, sometimes it's get too hard, because you're trying to navigate and fight some of these big problems out there, right? So you need your support system out there, right? You need mentors, you need friends, you need people who will be part of partners in this journey with you, right? So I think that's what allows it. So it's great that a lot of people are coming up, even for that matter, Brooks is doing this initiative. It's a fantastic platform for meeting more like-minded people who are thinking alike, right? So just talking about how entrepreneurs, if Kiran, if I get your question right, really look at SDGs and 2013 deadline as a way, or for us also, that we look up is a milestone to reach there, right? But even those 17 big goals could be daunting. So find your niche, find the problem that you feel the most passionate about. Within that, I think there's a lot of work to do. Find the right people to work with, and I think there's enough that's out there to happen, right? To explore there, yeah. And that's something we do at MASH a lot, sharing opportunities, giving access. If there are entrepreneurs who we are working with in providing them access to more investors, more incubators, more platform forums where they could learn more and connect with like-minded, right? So yeah, it's a great time, and we need to, of course, build a bigger ecosystem, right? Yeah.
Thanks, Ashish. Amrita, quick bite
Yes.
from you, and then we'll have to sign off.
Yes. So that's a great question, Kiran. I think for us, it's very clear that SDGs are becoming, we just can't be having them as conversations in seminars and forums. We all need to be working towards taking actions. And like Ashish spoke about what MASH is doing, in our case, our guiding principles are very clear. We are all about, everything that we do is about, ethical and responsible consumption. It's about inclusive, like a diverse ecosystem. It is about economic equity, and it is also about a very, fair and safe working cultures with craft collaboration. So our guiding principles are very in sync with quite a few of the SDGs. And what we do as an action step is work with the communities. And we've realized one thing, that as much as we want to be very ambitious and work directly with artisans, there are, in fact, we do need the collaboration of the social enterprises who have come into the picture now, working with the artisan communities to create great products, right? So what we are doing is we are working collaboratively with them. And in fact, we now have, so we have like a selection criteria of sorts of what kind of social enterprises we work with. And we are very, very focused and clear about that. And we are so glad that all the social enterprises who currently onboarded with us and are a part of the RA community for the business offerings, all address and are working towards these SDGs that we are focused on. And I think that's the way. It's like a relay, right? We have taken on something, we find more people who are committed to it at the grassroots level, and together we sort of have an action plan to address these sustainable goals. So yeah, that's as simply put in the short span of time that I have. Yeah.
Thank you, Amrita. Thank you, Ashish, for your beautiful words and your call out. I think that comes out from this conversation is community, the power of communities and existing within ecosystems. If you haven't found it, create one, follow Ashish's footsteps, or Amrita, which is to weave in your own support from what's available and come up with your community answer, because I think most of the wicked problems we face today cannot be solved in isolation, and we do need to collaborate. I think I see the affirmative nods from our speakers, and on that front, we hand back the mic to Abhijit. We've hijacked 6 minutes over our time. There's a beautiful question in the chat if anyone wants to take a crack at. Present panelists, future panelists, organizers. It's a very interesting question. Abhijit, over.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you, folks, for joining in. Really appreciate your time and the phenomenal discussion that happened. And thank you for being a wonderful host, as always, Kiran. I will let actually Apurva take over and introduce the next set of panelists.
Thank you, all the esteemed panelists. Moving ahead to the next panel. Yeah, yes. Welcome to all the esteemed panelists for panel 2. Introducing our first panelist, Richa Srivastava. She is managing partner at Makers Asylum, which is nurturing innovation in hardware, design, and sustainability. Makers Asylum brings together professionals from diverse sectors to work on interdisciplinary projects, and thus helping hardware entrepreneurs, problem solvers, and hobbyists. Welcome, Richa.
Hi, everyone.
Next, welcome. Next, we have Matthew, Co-Global Secretary General at MUN Impact. MUN Impact is a community, a moment, a launchpad for engagement with United Nations. MUN Impact inspires and motivates participants to think for action, particularly aiming the Sustainable Development Goals. Welcome, Matthew. And
hey,
lastly,
glad to be here.
Yeah. Lastly, we have Sharvari Kulkarni. She is co-founder at Makeshift. Makeshift offers design-led educational experiences for innovators, startups, corporates, educational professionals, and youth to enhance their skill through design thinking. She is an educator and design thinker having 6 years plus experience in curriculum development. So welcome and happy to have you all here. Now I would like to invite Niroshini, Vice Curator at Global Shapers Candy Hub, to host the panel discussion on educating on problem solving and creativity. Over to you, Niroshini.
Thank you so much, Apurva. And welcome again to the panelists who are doing amazing work. I'm quite excited to hear from all of you about all the work y'all are doing right now. So I thought I'll straight away dive into the discussion without further ado and start the discussion with Matthew, who is involved in doing learning or educating school children and youth mostly on SDGs. So the COVID-19 actually impacted or brought a lot of unprecedented challenges as well as opportunities across like all sectors. But in terms of this, I would like to ask Matthew, in terms of the work that you've been doing with MU and Impact, what were the biggest, it could be negative or positive challenges and the opportunities that came in front to you when educating children and youth, and how did MU and Impact navigated through these challenges and of course banked on the opportunities that came forth?
Definitely. Thank you so much. And first off, I guess it would be appropriate to give a brief introduction of who I am. So hey, all, very glad to be on this panel. I'm Matthew O. I am, full disclosure, a 16-year-old high school sophomore from Austin, Texas in the United States. And I have been volunteering for this organization, MUN Impact, for a little over a year now, and I'm currently serving in the capacity as its co-global secretary general. And so our organization, as Niroshini introduced, is basically all about galvanizing students internationally. We have a massive community of over 20,000 engaged students from 160 plus countries, precisely for Model UN and the SDGs. So SDGs, Sustainable Development Goals, and Model UN, some of you might be familiar with, is almost like a debate platform, perhaps maybe like mock parliament or similar opportunities. It's basically a forum where students step into the shoes of diplomats, UN delegates, and they get to make some of these monumental, world-changing decisions together through civil discourse. So that's what our organization does. We essentially create these opportunities primarily virtually, and students engage with us through our myriad programs, and they get to participate. And so going back to your question about how COVID has affected us, honestly, it was great for us. So prior to 2020 and the social upheaval, we were kind of a small organization, primarily engaging people through the internet, through online debates and forums, and that was going well. There was steady growth, but obviously it was what COVID that really kicked off our growth as an organization, because so many students no longer had live conferences to attend for Model UN, or found their ability to volunteer or get involved in SDG related work was severely impacted because of the pandemic. MUN Impact presented an opportunity for them to preserve that engagement virtually. So in a way, it really skyrocketed our organization's network and ability to engage people all over the world. And it's been one wild ride ever since. So yeah, that's pretty much it.
Great. Okay, so I think it opened up more opportunities than you would have thought previously. And on that note, I would like to direct the attention to Shawari, who is actually working on capacity building programs for teachers to help them adapt into remote teaching. So Shawari, first I would like to give the opportunity for you to, give a brief description about, the work you do, and then maybe shift into next to talk about like the main factors that you think stimulates creativity in remote settings when it comes to teaching.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Niroshini. So at Makeshift, we are trying to tell teachers that, classroom teaching is not the only way. Now they have moved online, but when we started teachers training, then that time it was all about changing their mindset towards looking at education. So right from teaching them how to deal with technology, how to deal with their smartphones, to how to design learning experiences for their online classrooms. So we have covered that kind of spectrum through our training programs. And yeah, it was difficult initially, but now teachers have acceptance for online teaching, and they want to get skilled. So nowadays, teachers come up with requirement that we want to learn about this kind of pedagogy, right? Activity based pedagogy is something we are focusing on, but nowadays teacher want to take a look at new tools, like let's say Canva, Nearpod, and stuff like that. So teaching how to use tool is one part, getting the best out of it is another part, and how do you blend your learning with these technology tools, so that's another part. So we are covering all that. And the second question you asked about, sorry,
Yeah, so like, what are the things through the like the experience, like, based on the feedback given by the teachers and based on your monitoring of the performance of the teachers after the training programs,
right,
what do you think
So
stimulates their creativity?
unfortunately, teacher training is the area where you don't get a continuous feedback, because once the training session happens, after that, teachers are left that way. Like teachers are free to explore on their own. Right now what we are trying to do with teachers is to get them on board on in the training program, but till this time there is no clear cut feedback from teachers saying that, this tool is working best for me, and this technology is working best for me. This is how you can create experiences, this is how you can blend technology and learning. Like, there is like a discrete way of thinking. There are tools, there is technology, there are tools, and there is learning. So blending is again a problem till this point. But I think now, from now onwards, things are evolving, and teachers and the mind shift that that was very difficult earlier. Now I think teachers are pretty much stable in terms of accepting technology.
Yeah, I guess you need to first get accustomed to it and before,
Exactly.
taking things forward. Um, so next I thought I'll wait to come to Richa, because I'm sure she has a lot to say in terms of the future of learning. From Maker Asylum, they do a lot on it. It's a space where, fostering innovation through purpose plus learning. So Richa, I would like to, get a little bit more information on Makers Asylum. And the next question I actually want to direct to is, are we future ready in terms of the future learning? And what do you think would be the future of learning?
Thanks. Thanks. Super nice to be here. Thank you, Abhijit team, for inviting me. Hi, Matthew, Sharvari. Super nice to share your comments as well. So just a quick introduction about me and Makers Asylum. My name is Richa. I started working with Makers Asylum about 3.5 years ago. My partner, Vaibhav, started the space back in 2013 out of a little garage in Mumbai. And the idea was to, Sharvi is raising her hands because she's also worked with us before, I believe. I mean, I was not there when she was, but that's what I know. But so the idea of the space it's just like any other makerspace, if you've heard of what a makerspace is. But this was India's first community makerspace. You can imagine us to be a space where you can access tools like 3D printers, laser cutters, wood shop, metal shop. Everything at the intersection of hardware design and programming is something that we focus on, and especially around sustainability. But you can imagine the space to be more like a, you know, you have labs inside universities and things like that. You can imagine this lab to be open for citizens. So anybody, you, me, Matthew, anyone can come in with their ideas, and hopefully with the tools, you can make it happen. So the space enables, you know, creative collaboration. It's a very open space for experimentation. It's a safe space to think beyond what you can do in a normal sort of a setting. And it's a space where you can go from ideation to actually making things. So that's what the purpose of the space has always been, to create that intersection of, you know, tangible solutions, tangible things that can come out of the space. And by the organic nature of the collaborative, you know, mindset and open space that you get, you can do much more than what you anticipate in the space. So so one piece of Makers Asylum is, of course, the physical infrastructure where people can come in, meet, use the tools, etc., etc. Then the other part of Makers Asylum that we've been focusing on over the years has been teaching people how to integrate technology for impact. So while these really futuristic technologies keep coming in, how do people like you and me access them? How do people like you and me use them to sort of visualize our own solutions, our own ideas? So a big piece of Makers Asylum over the years organically focused on teaching people how to sort of use these tools. How do you integrate that to, you know, create things? And so in that whole process, while we started as physical community space, we started teaching people. And in that process, we started designing programs. In that process, we started sort of integrating all our philosophies of why we make, why it needs to be a community that needs to learn together. Why does it need to be collaborative versus competitive? And all of that, you know, philosophy. Corporate organizations. We also work with and how do you look at problems? One piece of Makers Asylum that's focused around education via various programs that we do. And then the other part of Makers Asylum is also working on a lot of product innovation work. So because by the virtue of the community and the skill set that we have in-house, we also build a lot of things and we make a lot of things. So we also do a lot of innovative things around product development, from going from ideation to create to prototyping to actually manufacturing things now. We had a really interesting story in the pandemic, and I'll talk about it a little later. But I believe, and what we believe, is that the future of learning is at the intersection of, you know, this digital and physical space. It needs to be hybrid. It needs to be experiential. It needs to be also self-paced. It also needs to be things that you can define as your own learning journey. I feel that it should be your personal menu of things that you want to learn in life, and how do you sort of apply that to, you know, that whole ikigai. I don't know if you guys have seen the ikigai, right? At the intersection of your passion, purpose, the need of, you know, everything around you, the community. If you're able to find your ikigai, I think that's what is how your way of the future of learning should be very personalized, in my opinion. So yeah.
Thank you very much, Risha, for that. That's, I think, very true. I mean, it needs to be your vision. You need to, you know, consciously invest yourself into figuring out the right balance and how to, you know, bring together all the forces into one place. On that, I would like to go back to Matthew on it and ask, so in terms of, you said like it opened up, you know, a lot of opportunities, the pandemic opened up. So what's that one thing you're ambitious about right now, or you want to do through MU Impact to make sure the learning for the children and youth is much better than what it is right now?
Definitely. I think I'll go ahead with some examples of what we're currently doing and some of the more experimental stuff in progress. So as I previously mentioned, we're all about, creating opportunities for discussion and then catalyzing that to create, direct action. And some of the main ways we do this is, so over the years, we've developed a sort of in-house methodology for getting people to do stuff, essentially. And we run this sort of, you can think of it as a course, very tiny condensed course, almost like a how-to guide. And we run it at various events. We run it in these almost kind of hackathon sessions where students go through the steps of this methodology and they come up with an idea that contributes to the SDGs, and they receive the opportunity to present that before a panel of experts. And so this methodology it's pretty similar to most kind of problem solving, creativity, and design thinking courses you might find out there. It's all about defining your problem statement, drawing on inspiration, developing a plan, and lastly, getting feedback and refining your idea. And what I'd like to focus on the most is probably our ability to provide opportunities where students can draw on inspiration. So because of our international reach, we're able to get in contact with all sorts of wonderful NGOs, schools, conferences, and initiatives like Vroksh and Misfits. And we're able to take the best out of each of these organizations and deliver that to the student communities we serve. So, for example, just a brief, let me think. Yes, okay. So for example, we're currently working on a project with WWF in Singapore, World Wildlife Fund, and we're basically creating a project through which students can submit different SDG projects they're working on. The idea is that each student creates almost a video collage of 1-second shots, and it's all combined into one clip. We're calling it the 1 second a day challenge, 1SE challenge. And we're working with WWF Singapore to make this into a reality and have it be like the run-up initiative for one of their upcoming events later, I believe, in the start of 2022. So this is just one of the examples that because of our international reach, because of the partner community we've been able to build, we're able to connect the dots and make a lot of these partnerships and opportunities available, and students can be a part of that process, and through which hone their design thinking and creativity skills. But also, a lot of this is also about just as simple as offering workshops, using our NGO partners to create workshop opportunities where students can sit down and hear from an expert in the field they're looking to go into, and understand the work they do, the path it took to get them there, and why their work is so important to the SDGs. And that, while it doesn't necessarily translate into direct action immediately, it kind of plays into the idea of planting a seed. We're able to inspire kids through these workshop opportunities that we can create. And eventually, they'll grow up, or even at my age, they'll start working on all sorts of wonderful projects that have very tangible and measurable contributions to the world. For one example, I'm not affiliated with this organization, but through our network, we're aware of, say, a group of undergraduates, recent college freshmen and sophomores, who have started their own biotech company, and it's all about finding, I believe, using AI learning to culture bacteria strains to clean water. They're based in the US, and it's just one of the examples of how, because of our early age intervention through workshops and all these other opportunities we're able to provide, we're really able to inspire kids to conduct their own direct action projects in the future. And very quickly, just want to describe, so some of the things we have in progress at the moment are, say, for example, the idea of marrying STEM with Model UN debates. So Model UN debates, for most of their history, have primarily been all about, if you have a history or economics or social studies background, you'll thrive in the MUN community, because that's what it's all about, discussing world problems, discussing how government policy affects the lives of people all over the world. And what you realize is the deeper you look into many of these topics that are being discussed, it's all about STEM in the end. It's all about data. It's all about science, and especially, math when it comes to seeing how the numbers work out. And unfortunately, we're not able to offer that side of Model UN to participants because of the fact that it's always been a field that is kind of restricted to the humanities. And so one of the projects we're working on is being able to democratize the MUN arena and allow many more STEM kids with interest in STEM to be able to participate in MUN. And for example, participate in actual hackathons where there's a defined problem and people are able to propose STEM-oriented solutions to those issues. And it's a ways off, but we're constantly innovating and refining our pedagogy and trying to be able to create these wonderful new opportunities for the student communities we serve.
Thank you very much, Matthew, for that very elaborate answer and sharing about all the work. And I think we can't stress enough the importance of collaboration and getting the school children involved in the process. So in the interest of time, I would quickly shift to yes, I'm sorry, to ask about what's that very shortly. I would want to know, in terms of getting the teachers adapted, what is that one thing you really, really wish that you need to make sure that the teachers come up to speed very quickly in terms of adapting into remote learning?
I would say, as a teacher, now who is a teacher? Teacher is a person who is employed at a school, right? There are multiple people and multiple decision makers around teacher. So teacher on her own has a limited autonomy. So we have to think about the schooling ecosystem first, and then then we have to create the solutions, because even if you are creating a solution which is useful for a teacher, but it has a long way to go to reach teacher, right? Just to reach to the teacher, it has to first penetrate through the management structure of the school and education ecosystem as well. So it is not a very easy problem to tackle, but right now, because of obvious reasons, people are going towards online learning. People are shifting towards blended learning at least. And even if we come back to school, then also blended learning will stay. And yes, there are organizations working on various apps for children, various apps for teachers, and technology also. So I think for teachers to get into action, it has to penetrate through the education system. Second, management decision, that is very important, and teachers own will is also important.
Thank you, Shawari. So building upon what Matthew was saying about the collaborations and Shawari is telling about building ecosystems, Risha, I would like your expert opinion on this. What would you, on which direction or what tip would you want to give to the entrepreneurs right now to make sure that we are, create that system to make the learning system more in a possible way to meet the future requirements? What should the entrepreneurs really direct their attention to?
I think, I don't know how I'm placed to sort of, give other people advice and, how.
At least through, because asylum vision.
But just from what we've been doing, I could give examples of what we thought would be a best case scenario for us, because every sort of entrepreneur's problem statement is different. So for us, it's always been around how do we integrate hands-on learning for everyone, So the space has always been for adults, for anyone. So anyone from a teenager to even like a retired individual has always come to our space. A lot of artists, designers, very interdisciplinary groups, right? So we've catered to a very diverse group of people who come to us. So one of the primary things for us as a physical space when COVID happened is how do you sort of imagine ourselves and visualize ourselves digitally, because a makerspace is inherently a physical infrastructure. So one of our big problem statement was that if we were to do our programs, if we were to sort of, engage with people remotely in a format of a Zoom or whatever else to all the students and, all the organizations that we work with, how do we bring the essence of Makers Asylum online, right? And so one of the things that we did last year was really exciting, and I think is one of the things that we really psyched about was that, touch and feel is so important to learn, at least from our point of view. So what we started designing was that even though we're doing things online, how can we give everyone something to touch and feel even when they're at home? So we started designing these educational kits, which go to people's homes. So for example, you want to learn about drones, you want to learn about Internet of Things, you want to learn about electronics and robotics, whatever else, you receive a little piece of Makers Asylum that comes to your home, and you're able to schedule your time with our mentors and facilitators 1:1 in a more personalized format. You can also self-pace it because it's flexible. And all of this sort of happens because now you're able to have a piece of us at home. So you're able to touch and feel and do the same things, but remotely. And I thought that that was really exciting for us, because that's when we thought that we broke the digital, screen, and we went to somebody's space, because you're receiving something from us and it's all designed, made, and everything obviously at our space. But there's something that goes to you that sort of, keeps that alternative experiential thing intact. And I think it's been working really well, especially for teenagers who've been working with us over the last 2 years, where they've been super excited to, sort of learn, because everything else is so like a conversation. It's like a one-way conversation. And when they come and receive what we send to them, it becomes a two-way street, because you're, tinkering, you're making at home, and at the same time, you're sort of having that conversation. So that was one of the things that we did to sort of imagine ourselves in a more hybrid format. Then we also work with a lot of universities around sustainability, social entrepreneurship, and the SDGs. And the idea, and we used to get all of these people from now over 40 countries to come down to our space over the years. We used to host it in Mumbai, and then in Paris and a few other places. And everybody used to be together to do these programs. And then we were like, how do we, make this online, and how do we make this as exciting as it is, when you come physically to a space? So we stuck to the same format, and what we tried to do was keep it as experiential as possible. Even in an online space, I think what we were able to sort of create is that same kind of human level connect. And I feel that is the most important piece when it comes to digital learning. How do you create that human level connect even when you're sitting across screens? And I think one of the things that we've really focused on is that once you have that connect with anybody, even in this group of people who's listening to you, if you have that human level connect is when you sort of transcend, and that's when you connect and you can collaborate and you can create ideas. And I think, interestingly, I don't know what it is, but because we focus a lot on that, we've hosted now over almost about 1,000 people online in the last 2 years, and we've done experiential formats of program. And at the end of each program, people do cry, people do feel that they're getting disconnected with people at the end of it. So I feel that there's something definitely working. So I feel that 2 things we definitely have focused on is the human level connection that you can make even across screens. And the other piece is how do you sort of have something physical with you while you're doing things online, and that makes it super experiential.
And that's an amazing approach that you all come up with. And I mean, thank you so much for sharing that, perspective or the thinking behind it, so the others could also understand much more. So in the interest of time, I will have to wrap up. I'm 2 minutes overboard as well. But thank you so much for all the panelists for sharing about the great work you all do, and also for doing what you all are doing as well. And if to all of you all who is tuning in and who is not yet following the panelists and the work and the organizations, please do reach out to them and continue the conversation and keep collaborating and make that ecosystem that we really require. Over to you, Apurva. Thank you so much again.
Thank you, everyone. Now,
thank you, dear panelists. Thank you, Sharvari, Matthew, Richa. Thanks a lot. And thank you, Niroshini, for co-hosting it.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you, Anupam.
Okay, guys, let's move ahead. Also, to all the participants, I'll be sharing the panelist email IDs with all of you. You can connect with them via email. Moving ahead towards the jury panel, let me share my screen and then Apurva will take over from here. Just a minute. Yes, Apurva, please go ahead. Yeah, please go ahead, Apurva.
Yeah, so all right, let's move to the next that is the pitching session. We like to invite our esteemed jury. In the jury, we have with us first Richa Singh. Richa Singh is assistant professor at Priyadarshini Institute of Management and Research. She is experienced in human resource arena and conducted various recruitments, inductions, and training programs. Welcome, Richa. Next, we have Mr. Pratap Shukla, CEO at Incubin Foundation, which is a Rashtrasanta Tukroji Maharaj Nagpur University Business Incubation Center. He is experienced design consultant, design thinker, and innovation consultant. He has developed applications in various business domains from oil and gas to business intelligence. He is also having 20 plus years of industrial experience and business problem solving. Welcome. Lastly, we have Mr. Irtif Lone, head at Center for Innovation, Incubation and Business Modeling, JKEID. JKEID has been established by Government of Jammu and Kashmir to enable entrepreneurship development in the state. He has over 10 plus years of experience in entrepreneurship development. Welcome, Mr. Irtif. Now, I would like to invite my colleague Muskan. She'll take over the moderation.
Okay, so let's move ahead with the...
Yeah, just a minute, Muskan. Yeah. Just a minute.
Okay.
Is Mr. Pratap here? I can't see him. Okay, let me quickly ping Mr. Pratap. He hasn't joined yet. Just to be sure, Mr. Pratap is joining in some time. Just to check, I hope Ms. Richa and Mr. Irtif are able to edit the scorecards.
Yes, Anupam, I can.
Okay.
Yeah,
I can do that.
Yes, sure. Okay. Muskan, you can go ahead with the ground rules and all of that. Yeah.
Okay. So moving on to the pitches, each participant will have 3 minutes to present their pitches, which will be followed by a Q&A session by the jury. Please keep in mind that there is a hard stop at 3 minutes. So keep in mind that your pitch should be under that limit. I believe that you have been granted screen share rights by now. So let's start with our very first participant, Sumit, representing Unisense.
Hi. Am I audible?
Yes.
Yes, Sumit. Go ahead.
Okay, wait a second. Let me share the screen first. Is it visible? Can you confirm before I start?
Yeah.
Okay, so
yeah, whoever is taking care of the time, if you can ping the participant at 2.5 minutes to remind that participant that only 30 seconds are remaining. That would be great, right?
Okay,
sure.
yeah. So
Yes.
I'll be starting now. Okay, so
Yes,
good morning, everyone. I'm Sumit Borwa, representing Unisense, and I'll be presenting one of our product lineup, which is about protective and functional wear with live monitoring of vitals and location. Before nosediving deep into our product, let's check out some numbers. 1.7 million annual deaths and 268 million non-fatal injuries occur, due to which at least 3 days of work breaks are being taken, and all occur due to hazardous work environment. Yes, this not only impacts the person working there and their lives, also the economy of the entire space as well. Unisense has designed not only a protective wear, but also a clever array of sensor arrays, which will not only monitor the health vitals, monitor the locations, but also certain external parameters, making sure the person is monitored at great safety and security. Now, the immediate question would be, why are we not using Fitbits? Apart from not being able to monitor the external environment and giving us the freedom to edit the area of sensors, imagine a scenario where a person is working in a hazard-prone environment, has to go through certain accident, and they have to look into their Fitbit and say, okay, my heartbeat is high, my vitals are depleting, I'm in trouble. Well, I guess that's totally counterintuitive. What we are offering, a seamless wear where the person doesn't even have to look at any monitor. Rather, we'll be monitoring all the vitals through a remote dashboard, and the sensors are housed in the entire dress in such a way that they won't even feel it necessary that if there is something external attached with it. Now, for our revenue model, we have attached 2 tiers of revenue, one from the direct sales and one from the annual maintenance cost. And
Sumit, we can see your first screen only.
Okay, is it not changing?
It's not changing, yes. I've paused the timer. Please do it ASAP.
Wait a second. Can you see now? Can you just check, please?
I can't see. I guess jury members are also not able to see.
Can you just confirm?
No, just the first screen.
Just the first screen is there.
Okay.
Just present it to.
Yeah, I'm sharing now.
Yes, F5, yes.
And just check once again.
Yes, it's changing now.
Yes.
Okay. Really sorry for that part.
No issues.
And yes, this was the screenshot I was actually showing. This is the screenshot of our dashboard we have developed. And yes, from that, I was talking about the revenue model. Yes, we have 2-tier revenue model, one from the direct sales and one from the annual maintenance cost. And with that, we have taken a conservative figure since we'll be going live by third quarter of 2022. We project 10% of such industry. Now, quickly speaking about business model, we will be adhering to strict B2B model, and we'll be going through this classic GTM strategies that's needed. About our current status, we are incubated in Assam startup and I am Kolkata Innovation Park, and we have tested our prototype multiple times, and right now we are planning to build our this distribution channel in a robust way, with collaborating in multiple labs and trying to get fundings and grants. as a diverse product, you need a diverse team. We have a bunch of engineers and designers working for different companies like Google or Adobe, or even work projects with UNESCO, researchers. And yes, with this, since we have less time, I will be
Your
wrapping up
time
my
is
entire presentation. Over to you, judges. Yeah.
All right, Sumit, I wanted to know how does it look like? The first slide that you showed, is that your wearable?
Yes, this is our wearable, and right now we are also making. So I would also add one point that along most of the oil and gas agencies which we have talked with, and also we have researched with National Disaster Response Force. The companies have MOUs assigned for those kits. So we also have an alternate to enter the market, which is just the armband. So yes, this is one of the prototype which we have developed. This is how it looks.
Okay, all right. So you have developed a prototype, right?
Yes,
and
we have developed and tested.
How many people must have tested it by now?
Testing is 10 pieces we have, and we have gone for 5 rounds, so 50 people have tested.
50
prototype.
people.
Yeah.
Okay. And who is monitoring? I mean, is there any body who is looking at your the feedback, assessing your feedback, or maybe certifying that yes, it is a useful thing?
Yes, ma'am. That's a certification process. So right now our prototype and all those things are design registration process going on. But when we'll be going for the industrial grade, we have to get the clearance first. So we are on the process of that. So that's an ongoing process, and of course it will take certain amount of time to get all the clearance. But we are not waiting for that. We are heading simultaneously, because even getting the industrial grade and the distribution channel would take some time. Our target is third quarter of 2022 to get live.
All right. Just last question. How much have you invested till now?
It's almost 7 lakhs for this one. We're getting all the sensors, because we are not only developing the app and the dashboard, we are developing the sensor and the product, everything on our own. And also on the later part, what we are planning to do is we will be even though we are training certain pre-trained modules for machine learning, but we'll be obviously requiring our own data set, and we'll be training our own machine learning algorithms for entire programs. So this is what we are heading towards.
All right. Thank you so much. All the best.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Yes, I wanted to know about what is the costing of this suit that you're making, and yeah, please go ahead.
So we have actually 3 different tires. One would be the entire suit, one would be the inner vest, and one would be the armband, which I've said right now. And the costing varies. Like the armband would be just under 10,000, and the suit, the entire wearable suit, obviously the cost depends upon the classes. So there are 4 different classes of suit we wear in has to 14,000 to 15,000. But again, depending upon industry specific requirements, because higher classes actually require certain more of those specifications.
What are the competitions right now in the market for you?
Sorry, sir.
What is the competition right now for market?
Yeah, so direct competition we don't have as such. We have replacements. We have certain, even MIT is recently working on a vest that monitors ECG. That's one thing that's under development. Then of course the big project which we are all looking forward, that's the Google Jacquard. That is something which we are aware of, but not direct competition addressing the hazard prone industry with monitoring vitals and location. So replacements are there, but no direct competition as such.
Thank you and best of luck.
Thank you so much, sir.
Yeah, any questions from Mr. Pratap? Oh, Mr. Pratap, you're on mute. I hope I'm audible. Mr. Pratap, are you there? Okay, let's move to the next participant.
So next up, we have Team Edith Healthcare, represented by Shubham. Just let me know when you're ready. I'll start the timer. You're not audible. No, still not audible.
No, Shubham, you're not audible.
Hello.
Yeah.
Yes, it's working now.
Okay. Yes. Is my screen visible, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, we can start. So good afternoon, everyone. Myself Shubham Shah, and I'm founder of Edith Healthcare. So we are research and development company, and currently we are providing this product and services in our portfolio. But in 2020 February, we specifically identified this problem in the market that we cannot treat multiple infectious patients in the same room, like COVID, H1N1, TB, and there is no isolation facility in the rural area. Also, in the transport of infectious patients, they are not isolated, and there is a high cost and time it takes to develop a traditional negative pressure ward. So this type of pandemic and biological disaster are costing millions of life and billions of money. So we want to work on this, and we came up with this solution. It is an individual patient isolation to utilize the maximum of healthcare infrastructure facility. On left side of photo, you can see it is our new hospital design room where airborne infection mobile isolation board will be created, and all bed will be equipped with our isolation unit. On the right side photo, you can see it is our isolation unit. It is an airtight chamber where patient exhale cannot directly mix up in the environment. It will be sterilized and filtered with the 3 stage, and then it will be allowed to mix up in the environment. On the right side photo, you can see all the medical equipment can be easily integrated in our units. So these are some preliminary results and feedback from our customers. We have applied for IP and design rights also. And what are our USP is to low cost, portable and quick installation for isolation. On left side photo, you can see it is our mobile isolation port for ambulance solution, and right side is for the healthcare facility. So what value we are offering to our customers? So we are going to protect our frontline workers with 100%. We can treat multiple infectious patients in the same room. It will increase the patient intake in the hospitals. It will also preventing cross infection. We can create negative positive pressure as per the needs. So post surgery pressure, immunocompromised patients, also as a preventing nosocomial infection at the healthcare facility. These all are so what market we are looking for, and so we want it to install on the 20% of the bed for the infectious disease patient. And in new hospital design, we are currently partnering up for the new dedicated isolation ward with 100% unit. Also for the ambulance and for home isolation and home ICU, we are providing it on a rental basis. So what target we are looking for? WHO recommend
30 seconds left.
3 bed per 1,000 people for every country. For calculating Indians population, there are 5,500 crore market out there. So we are first in India to provide individual patient isolation solution at the healthcare facility at the hospitals. And for ambulance solution, there are many, but we do have a competitive advantage for that also. You can see on the right side blue lines. So current stage, we are in the process to getting an NABL certification for our products, and these are some award recognition we gone through. And this is our team, which is a fusion of all biological and engineering backgrounds. Our go-to-market strategies, we have already partnering up with this.
Shubham, your time is up.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Over to jury members.
Yes. Hi, Shubham.
Hi.
All right. Again, how many prototypes have you developed till now?
And we won some COVID-19 challenges and competitions and some government grants. That's how we started in February 2020, and we completed our prototypes during the second wave of COVID. We actually given to the home isolation patient during the second wave here in Ahmedabad. And but just because we do not have the NABL certificate, we couldn't install it in the hospitals. But very soon our product launch is scheduled in July 2022.
Okay, so roughly how many patients have used it at their home?
3 people for their 14 days quarantine period, because we have the limited our units.
Acha. So how was the feedback? Did they not feel claustrophobic, or maybe no?
Yeah, of course. The chamber is fully transparent, so there will be no psychological problems. And all the three patients where we have given there is no virus transmission from their family members. So once the first patient or second patient was isolated, then no transmission was seen in the another family members.
Okay, great. And is your plan to rent this out and also to sell this out, sell it to hospitals? What is your strategy?
Yes. We want to, in the new hospital designs, we are dedicatedly developing a new isolation ward where all bed will be equipped with our isolation units. So we can treat COVID patient, TB patient, H1N1 patient, all infectious patient in the same room, which we cannot right now do it. And it will also increase the hospital patient intake, because if right now you are treating in a 10 patient in one room, if our units are there, that will be increased to 15 to 20.
Okay, all right. And for the home patient, are you planning to sell it, or you're planning to rent, give it on rent basis?
Of course, we can offer the selling, but they prefer more for the rental services. They want for the specific time, and then there is no need for them.
Great, amazing, Shubham. That's all from my side.
Thank you.
Hi, Shubham. It was a wonderful presentation. The couple of things that I would want to ask is, one, that are you any sooner planning to get into the market, or are you still developing the prototypes?
No, sir. Our prototype development has been done. There is some for international market, the C certification, and for India NABL certification is right now in process. So we are in process to get the funds for that. It is around 8 lakh. So in 2 months, our certification will be completed, and our product launch is scheduled in July 2022.
When do you plan to do the production of this, and what are the requirements for it?
Yeah, so we have actually 3 pending orders. Once we get the NABL certification, then immediately in July 2022, we are starting its production and everything. We have already partnered up for the production some existing company who are helping us providing space for manufacturing and other help from their side.
So what, are there any financial requirements that you have before you can get into the market?
Yes, right now, because international certification costs are really high. So if we go for a C certification of FDA, so that is costing, we are looking for 8 to 10 lakhs. That is the certification cost we are looking right now. Otherwise, all other requirements and channels are already has been set up. We are just waiting for the certification now.
Okay. And what would be the cost per machine, per pod that you are creating, the isolation pod?
So cost is for us is a 56,000, and we are looking for the 40% margin right now.
Okay. Okay. Great. Thank you and best of luck.
Thank you very much.
Any questions from Mr. Pratap? So Mr. Pratap is facing some issues and he'll be dropping his questions in the chat section only. So okay, I guess there are no questions. Muskan, please move ahead with the next participant.
The next startup is Wellbeing, represented by Dr. B.G. Rupa.
I'm just sharing the. So is it visible?
Yeah, it's visible. Also requesting all the jury members to please score these startups as soon as they finish their pitches.
Right.
So is it in the presentation mode? Is it in the presentation mode?
Yes, yes.
Yes, please go.
Okay. So can I start?
Yes, please, Rupa. Please go
Okay,
ahead.
thanks. Hi, all of you. Wellbeing is a brand of Auresia Wellness Private Limited, offering health solutions through integrative medicine with a functional and scientific blend of strengths of allopath, naturopathy, and Ayurveda, with various treatment solutions to prevent, reverse, or cure people with chronic lifestyle disorders. Here is my team, myself with 20 years of experience in pharma and hospitals, with the management team supporting for technology and technically, for clinical, we have a team with allopath doctor, a diabetologist, supported by an Ayurveda and naturopathy practitioners, backed with about 40 plus specialists. We are together here to influence the way medicine could be practiced better. Transformation is required not among people, but also among the industry or among the doctors. And this is what is our aim. 61% of deaths, of total deaths in India are due to lifestyle disorders. And this number is only increasing in spite of advanced medical care. The gaps of conventional practicing system is addressed through our solutions. Therefore, we are able to offer solutions like diabetic reversal, thyroid reversal, where we are able to reduce the dependency on medicine and long-term risk. And here what we offer is not just the treatment, but also knowledge and habit-changing processes as part of the program. And it is possible because we strongly understood the weakness of one medical system is the strength of the other system. So we will not only be able to reverse the disorders, but also in those areas of people suffering with where the body is already damaged, through integrative medicine, we'll be able to provide best rehabilitation programs also. Our first breakthrough has been in diabetic reversal program. We have reversed over 500 diabetics so far, with even as high as 400 plus sugar level, 14 HbA1c, or people on insulin. We have completely reduced, brought them out of medication or reduced their dependency on medicine. There are many testimonials, not just diabetes, with many other lifestyle disorders. And this is possible through our 5-stage approach towards, starting from the screening to the treatment. And what we are aiming at is we have the advantage of both the conventional system market as well as the wellness. So it's 400 billion, just even 0.5% share from this market, we would be able to aim becoming the pioneer. And today, India is ready and favorable for integrative medicine. What we have done so far, we are in the growth phase. We are not in the startup phase.
30 seconds left.
Yeah. Clinically, whatever we had done, now thanks to COVID, we were able to do a lot of things digitally. With 200 plus protocol, we are now looking at building technology as well as the infrastructure. So therefore, we strongly believe that hybrid model is the best model to reach the global destination center, which is our goal. And there is a good growth strategy. And the business model, what we have evolved in the last 7 years is for a higher valuation, higher returns, larger reaches. And 3 crore is the expectation. Yes, 3 crore is the fund expected for various stage-wise increase in what we look expected. Thank you.
Over to jury members.
Yeah, hello, Dr. Rupa.
Yes.
First of all, that's a very beautiful thing that you are doing, reversal of these lifestyle diseases. Just wanted to know, how do you do it? Do you have a physical center or are you doing it online?
We have a physical center. After running physical center, we realized that this is not going to help us alone. We also need to reach out online, and we started doing it. Now, today, we feel for the growth, we require both a blend of good technology as well as a physical structure to become pioneers, because not many centers, we don't have too many competitors here. So if we have to establish, it's also being a very new concept, we require the physical presence as well as the online presence, ma'am.
Okay. How do you advertise your the service?
Right now, it's largely been word of mouth. We've been able to exist so far only with word of mouth. 4 years we took only to do the R&D. We were just running it as a multi-speciality clinic, and the integrated solution started only in the last 4 years. And we have, so what the idea is to create a good market on digitally. Digitally, we need to build knowledge about this and build the concept through digital. And obviously, once we are present as an infrastructure largely, we will also have a tie-up with the hospitals to get more walk-ins. That's the...
All right.
Yes.
Okay. And how, what are the kinds of medicines or maybe supplements? Have you designed some kinds of supplements or?
Right now we are depending on the nutrition supplements available, because for various disorders, when we are focusing on all the disorders, in the sense we started with diabetes, with thyroid and hypertension. So it is not just the food supplement what works here, it is the food also, the food habits. So on long run, we would like to have our own production unit for supplements, but that not being our main focus right now. It is on the treatment and the services. So we're focusing on designing the protocols more and more robustly, so that we are able to enter every hospital and able to transform every doctor's mindset on this, on what we're doing.
Great. Just last question from my side. What are the challenges you must have faced while convincing people online, to change their food habits so as to get the results?
Yes.
So do you think they really stick to what do you say, or maybe, after some time it fades away? What is your experience?
Yeah, the biggest challenge is influencing people on the habit changing process. And so therefore we are evolving for doing that with so many gadgets and other technology. We were only depending on counseling part, but today we have a lot of screening diagnostic equipments. And so that is where the technology needs to build in, so that there are reminders, there are influencers, there are knowledge building process which we need to do. So therefore there's a need for learning management system. All this we have been doing manually, we need to do it more to make it more robust online, like an experience of fitness and follow-ups and other things. So there are various technological programs which we need to integrate also. The way we have integrated medical systems, we also need to integrate the features on the technology to build this for influencing on the habit now. Yes, that is a challenging phase. That is a challenging area.
All right. Thank you and all the best.
Thank you.
Mr. Irtev, are you here? Okay. Any questions from Mr. Pratap? Okay, so Ms. Rupa, I guess Irtev has dropped off because he's in Kashmir. He already told us that he's facing network issues.
Sure.
If he joins back, we'll do this Q&A with him again.
Sure.
And we are for now moving ahead with the next participant.
Sure. Thank you.
So the next participant is Karmasthal Health Tech Private Limited, represented by Rohit.
Yeah, hi. I have some issues with my net connectivity. So my co-founder Amarjeet will be presenting.
Yeah. Hi, this is Amarjeet. Are you able to view my screen?
Yes, yeah.
Okay. Let's start. So basically, we are an elder care specialist. We have started in the year 2019, November year 2019, but our operations has begun from April 2021. This is this year. So we have done some bit of business for which was started during the second wave of COVID, and we have helped around 110 families till now. So our main goal is to create a disruption in the elder care sector by providing a solution right from finding a caregiver and being assisted by IoT and AIML for a constant care experience. Here, what we are doing is we are both training, engaging, and employing around 15,000 blue-collar workers till date. So, to say it in a single phrase, we are the Uber of hellbound, homebound elder care patient, as well as say post-hospitalization, post-surgery, and hospice care. We are on the mission of training and deploying millions of caregivers, right from BPL background to the mainstream workforce. So what we are doing as of now is taking care of the efficiency part of the caregiving, that is making it say easier to find a caregiver, to tracing the digital footprint of all the activities of the caregiver, then medicine adherence monitoring, as well as digital health record, data visualization, medical e-commerce. In the second phase, we'll be going to remote monitoring, and our final outcome is to get all the data in a single point to create a preventive healthcare solution for the adult. The problem that we have found is that most of the children who are living away from their parents are having a hard time whenever there is a crisis at home. They have to leave everything at a drop of a hat and come back home to take care of their parents. Which sometimes is very not it's not
30 seconds left.
Okay, not feasible. And so we have seen gaps like there is no single point say application to find caregivers as well as give caregiving support from the right point. The market opportunity is that there are 28 million addressable market where 5 million is total serviceable market, and if we take the average
time up. Your time is up.
Thank you.
The floor is open for questions.
All right. So I did not get, when did you start this? During the COVID period, right?
Yeah, during the COVID period. So 2021 is our operation start date.
Okay, all right. What I wanted to know is how do you provide training to the caregivers?
So
do you have an expert?
In our expert panel, you can see Srinivas Sasikanth Sripati is our skill advisor, who basically was an ex-CEO of Hero Mind and has started Prudential Learning, where they train the caregivers in a blended learning space.
Okay. And I mean, how was the feedback that you got?
So the feedback that we got was very exciting. We have got a lot of appreciation from our clients during this period. We have served a very small amount of people that approach us for the COVID care. We have served around 110 families, but we got a very good feedback.
So did they find it affordable, or what is your, how much do you charge?
So we charge on a daily basis. Our charges say start from 799 a month for digital only to around 2 lakhs for ICU at home. So depending on the customer need as well as customer requirement, the charges are different. For say only non-medical care, the charges are lower, but medical care, which requires specialized nursing as well as specialized equipment, the care cost will be higher.
Okay, and how do you ensure that your staff, you know, the people that you have trained and sent them to the patients, they do not dissociate with you and then they go and join that person directly? Why do they want to stick with you?
So the technological backbone that we have, as well as we are developing it more and more robust, so that the customer itself, it becomes say the customer itself will have a lot of say incentive to be online, be with us rather than taking the caregiver only. So there will be instances where there will be people attrition of our caregiver, where they will be directly associating with the client, but that will be a very low percentage.
That is what I'm asking. What is that extra thing that you are giving them? So that the patient also do not, they ditch you, or maybe also your caregivers?
So say once a caregiver is there, we trace the entire activities of the caregiver and provide a weekly report, as well as we have a medicine adherence as well as medicine stock keeping, record keeping, where every say medicine is being monitored, as well as the impact of the medicine is being monitored. So this is something, what we generally do is that, we change the BP medicine and we just hope that it is working better. But what we do when we change the medicine, what we do is that here the medicine changes occurs, and as well as the vital monitoring is put together, so we can see that, okay, what is the impact of the medicine that is happening to the patient. So these kind of things are not feasible for only a caregiver can do. So this is something that adds value to the customer.
Okay, all right. That's it. From my side, all the best.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Hi, folks. This is Abhijit. Just stepping in because our other jury members are facing connectivity issues. Amarjit, wonderful presentation. Could you go to the revenue slide? It's very interesting to see the numbers that you. So within a year, I see you've 65 lakhs of revenue that you've brought in.
Yeah.
Being a split across these services that you have.
So basically, 80% of our revenue was from COVID care. Which was the need of the hour, and the 20% of the revenue is what is happening month on month, where we have retained a few customers and got a few customers.
Okay, great. Sure. And you mentioned post-funding projections. So what's the fund that you're trying to raise right now?
So we are trying to raise 3.26 CR at a 17.86 percentage valuation.
Okay, very specific. Can you maybe explain why?
What we basically did was we have done a valuation methodology through Lakhani Financial Services of Mumbai, and what we have done is that we have mapped the requirement, cash flow requirement for the next 12 months, as well as we have done an investor IRR, expected investor IRR at 25%, pegged it at 25%, and found out the valuation that work best is basically 3.26, which is required for the next 12 months to make it a full-fledged company. Because we are trying to address a very big market, as well as so we do have a plan to go to 17 locations across India.
Nice, very interesting. I think wonderfully done, and I really appreciate the focused answers and all the homework that you've done for this. So,
thank you. Anything else?
Yes.
I think
thank you,
we have Irtif in the room.
So Irtif has just joined. I am not sure if he had heard the presentation.
I just joined. I couldn't listen to the presentation. Sorry for
not a problem. We have already sent the presentation. Once you have any question, drop in the mail. We'll be happy to answer.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Yes, Muskan.
Thank you so much, jury members and Mr. Amarjit. Moving on, the next startup we have is Khwab, represented by Khushi.
Hi, hello everyone. Khushi could not be here due to some health issues. I am another team member of Project Khwab. And is it okay if I go ahead with the presentation?
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
All right, great. So I'll just present my screen. Just a second, I'm facing some issues.
Just right. So if I've filled in for you for Karamstal's jury details, and I've added my pointers there. You can continue for the rest.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, is my screen visible to all of you?
Yes.
All right. Right. So hi, we're from Quab. The problem that we aim to solve is basically that of single-use plastic. So as you know, all our products like the shampoos, conditioners, and body wash, they have some sort of a plastic packaging. And in that, 1.2 billion single-use plastic bottles are produced, enough to fill over 3 Olympic-sized pools. Then there's 2 billion liters of water that is wasted in these production of soaps and shampoos, enough for 9,31,506 people to drink. And additionally, there is a 1 million kgs of carbon dioxide that is emitted by this personal care industry. So Quab is an attempt to raise the culture in India that is sustainable and transform your view of single-use products. This is how we carried out our research and development through a lot of need assessment surveys, and then we analyzed it. Then we identified the problem of plastic packaging and recognized the need for an upstream solution. We started with 85 plus recipes, then narrowed it down to 21 plus recipes. We collaborated with 13 plus formulation scientists and given 1300 plus hours of our works, a collective effort to finalize a product that was the Quab bars and tablets. Now, what we produce are Quab tablets. These are soap, body wash, shampoo, and conditioner tablets that we call Quab drops. And they're made by compacting essential ingredients like shea butter, essential oils, lye, and they dissolve 3 times faster than soap, have an ergonomic design, and are small and compact. These are the steps we follow to use these tablets. Our product range as of now includes shampoo bars, conditioner bars, soap tablets, and shampoo tablets that we sell at these prices respectively. Then we are an affordable brand. We also are vegan, cruelty-free, and eco-friendly. And we do not support any mica into our products. So we also aim
30 seconds left.
All right. So these are our sales channels where we sell to local retailers and railway and tourism industry. So we follow both the B2B and B2C model. We have 3 Indian cities into consideration. These are our numbers of reach. Then till now, we've generated a cumulative revenue of around 1.1 million and sold over 1250 bars, and it produced over 81,000 tablets.
Your time is up.
All right. That is just a roadmap. If you want to go through it, that's it. Thank you.
Over to the jury.
Yeah, beautiful work, Team Quab. So you're targeting only 3 cities right now. Are you not available online?
We sell through Enactor stores, and we've also listed our products on certain Facebook stores right now. So yeah.
So you can ship it anywhere.
Yes, ma'am. We are available
Yes.
to ship it everywhere, but our manufacturing units are basically placed in these 3 cities, and we rarely follow a B2C model. We're generally a B2B model of business. Yeah, so that's how.
Okay. Have you cracked that IRCTC business, or are you in the process?
No, ma'am, we're still in the process of that. We're looking for some points of contact. Yeah.
Acha. Any big name that you have already, overboarded till now?
Ma'am, we're still in the process of a lot of things, but right now in all the 3 cities, there are like 12 plus departmental stores, small and medium scale, that we have or that have listed our products in. Yeah.
How do you plan to create awareness about reduction of single-use plastic? Do you feel people are already aware, or how would they feel happy about buying your product? What is your plan?
Now we focus on a cause marketing and relationship marketing. So both these things. Moreover, our products are quite affordable, right? So if you see, we sell our products at like ₹1 and ₹5. So it automatically creates an incentive for them to buy our product, especially. Sorry, yeah.
What I want to know is why would they prefer your ₹1 product over a ₹1 sachet of a shampoo? So why would they be motivated to take your product?
Sure, ma'am. The problem of plastic pollution is not hidden to anyone. Everyone at their core want to do something but do not have the available means. We at Quab provide the available means to them. Again, at the ₹1 sachet, they have the problem of plastic wrappers around them. We at Quab providing a plastic-free product at the same cost incentivizes the customer to buy a more vegan, a more natural product rather than destroying their own planet. And
so how would they come to know that this kind of a product is available?
Yes, I'm coming to that. We have run some social media campaigns targeting our target audience and reaching to them via social media and word of mouth as well. So that is how we are planning to reach people through networking and other channels.
Moreover, ma'am, just adding on, we are mainly a B2B model, right? So the departmental stores that sell our products, we ensure that they have one salesperson who would just explain what our products are to the customers who are looking for alternatives and everything. So till now, we've made pretty good sales, and yeah.
All right, fine. That's all from my side.
I just wanted to ask, what are the profit margins for these products right now?
Right, sir. So we operate at more than 60% profit margin right now, and we're aiming to increase it further by bettering our technologies of production.
So you're increasing the profit margins rather than increasing the market you are accessing.
Sorry, I did not get you, sir.
I said, are you trying to increase the profit margins or the markets that you are accessing right now?
Both of that, sir. But right now we do not have a lot of machinery that is put into use. So a lot of manpower also goes into the making of especially the soap and shampoo bars. So now for that, we're trying to harness some technology, and it's already in process. A student and engineering students ka group in Bhopal is developing a technology for us. So if we get to harness that, our costs will automatically reduce and our profit margin will increase. Moreover, definitely we're also planning to expand our market. So both these things.
Adding on to that, as our plan for 2022 is expanding in across 3 states. So through economies of scale, our profit margins are likely to increase.
One last question that I want to ask is, what is the actual USP of your product? Is it that you are not using the plastic in a way, or there's also some good things about the shampoo that you're producing?
So right now we're producing shampoos that are completely organic and natural and sulfate and paraben free. And we're also developing a prototype that will help us customize these shampoo tablets to various hair types. So, yeah.
But why then has been I think the most of the focus of your presentation has been on that you're not using any plastic sachets or something like that for your shampoo or the soap bars that you're manufacturing?
that is where our problem statement comes from. So we researched about the problem of single-use plastics, and then we thought, how can we reduce it through reduction in plastic packaging? So the beginning part just explains how the idea came from it, and yeah, the USP slide pretty much sums up what we stand for.
Okay. Thank you and best of luck.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Any questions from Mr. Pratap? Okay, moving ahead towards the next participant, Team Smart Warehouse, represented by Anupam. Yeah.
Hello everyone. I am Akash. I am CEO and founder of Smart Warehouse. Is my screen visible?
Yes, it's visible.
Okay.
Please go ahead.
So we are supported and funded by these institutes: ICI, Ministry of Agriculture, TCS Foundation, and Smart City Bhopal. So a farmer is a magician who produces money from the mud, but still they do suicide because they are not getting a right price for their communities. They are not getting a fair storage for their communities. So one incident happened when I was in MBA, graduating from Bikaner. I went for a village there. A farmer is growing the groundnut, but they borrowed money from a money lender, but they are not able to repay the money, and because they are not getting a fair price for their communities. So for that, we have identified the gap, why the farmers is doing the suicide, and what kind of solution we can produce. So we have identified three problems that right now our agriculture is very traditional methodology working. They are more unorganized, unmanaged, and inefficient. The farmer who willing to store in the warehouses, they are not able to do so because the high storing charges, lack of information, transparency. So with our skill set, we have built an application in which we are connecting the all unorganized warehousing in one platform. We are deploying our WMS system with the help of Ministry of Agriculture in all the warehouses, and we are also providing AR feature in which the food company keys can see the produce where the farmers has stored their commodities. And this is the app solution that the farmers can book the warehouses, the food companies can see the warehouses where the produce is stored, and the WMS to make the transparent manner. So these are the smart storage that we are deploying in the villages. So we are taking the scrap containers, and with our retrofitting innovation, we are deploying into the villages so that the farmers can store their perishable commodities and get the right price for their price. So this is marketing. So we are in a very rural, so we do the posters, banners, and we are doing events in the mandis and villages. We are also in a social media platform. We are providing 90 days trial for the warehouses to use our softwares. These are some of the competitors, direct and indirect. It's Godam Wale and CDX India Mart. So currently 40% of produce we are wasting per year at a cost of 1 lakh crore rupees, and 90% in India is unorganized agri warehouse sector is there. So this is our team. We are young enthusiastic team. And this is the three type of models we are going to, with the subscription-based model, commission-based model, selling the commodities. So this is a sales forecast. By the end of this year, we will produce, in March 2022, we will produce 5,25,000 as a revenue. And this is a research work. For that, when we implement our solution, first we do the research work, we do the ground study, and then we provide.
Your time is up.
Thank you. Thank you so much for providing opportunity and supporting our vision.
Over to the jury.
All right, Akash.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, I wanted to know, is your app in Hindi and other regional languages as well?
Yes, ma'am. So we have taken a Google Translator API, in which any farmer can book the warehouses and store their commodities.
All right. So have you got feedback about how user friendly is it?
Yeah, it's very much user friendly. Means it's a 3-step process. In the 60 seconds, the farmer can book the warehouse without doing any lethargic work, documentation work. And we are also providing a smart storage so that they can store their perishable commodities. Means, in the news, you have recently seen that the tomato price in the August is 10 rupees. And farmer is storing their commodity because they are not getting a fair price. But with the help of a smart storage, they can store for a longer period of time. And when they will get the right price, they can sell out their commodities with our app also.
Okay, so are you aggregating smart warehouses, or you have created a smart warehouse kind of a thing?
Okay, so thank you for asking this question. First, we have started that we are aggregating model, but we saw that the warehouse is charging too much from the farmers. For the 10 bori, one bag, they are storing charge around 10 rupees per month. To reduce that cost, to minimize that cost, we have launched our containers that I have shown you, smart containers.
So, Achha, you have developed that container.
Yeah, cold storage.
It has cold storage, okay?
Yeah, so we are taking around 2 rupees for storing their commodities, 2 bori for the 50 kg.
2 rupees per bori.
Yeah.
2 rupees per bori.
Yeah.
Okay.
So weight of around 50 kg. Yeah.
Per month.
Yeah, per month.
Okay. And how efficient is your this cold storage?
Yeah, it's very good, ma'am, because we are taking because we are tied with the IRCTC and the Ministry of Agriculture. So they are providing a scrap value, means around, we are taking this around 5 lakhs rupees of 20 metric ton storage. So with the help of innovations and then the retrofitting, we are putting these containers into the villages. So the farmers can book the warehouse from our app, and from the solar panels, it's affordable rates.
It runs on solar power.
Yes, ma'am.
And how many cold storage have you created till now?
Till now, we have deployed six cold storage in MP.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you take that cold storage near the farmer, near the farm.
Yeah.
Is it like that? Or they have to come over to your center?
No, ma'am. We are deploying our cold storage in the village only. So they don't have to travel, because we want to reduce the traveling cost, logistic cost also. So,
and who takes care of the security of your property?
So we are giving to the village head, Panchayat. Okay. So he is taking care of that.
Okay. So you do some paperwork as well?
Yes, ma'am. Because
Okay. How much have you invested till now?
Till now, we have invested around 35 lakhs rupees.
35. Okay.
Yeah.
What was the source? Who funded this?
So we have funded by Ministry of Agriculture. So Raftar project, we got the 25 rupees seed funding and TCS Foundation.
Okay, great. Beautiful concept. All the best. That's all from my side.
Thank you, ma'am.
So far, you have installed 6 of these boxes in the villages. And
yes,
which geographical area is this?
In MP.
Okay. How much has it increased the income of the farmers if they are using your facility?
So, the farmers, if they means in MP, the most perishable commodities growing is that tomatoes,
yes,
makka, onions, potatoes, and all the things. But when the sales time come, harvest time come, they are not getting the fair price. Means 10 rupees, 20 rupees jab is hota. But now see, the tomato is selling out at 60 rupees per kg. So it's a big margin for the farmers also, and they will also getting the benefits, because now they are selling around.
Since you are using. Yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah. So now the production cost has reduced because of the new technology. They don't have to bring to the mandis. By the help of our storage, they can directly sell out with our app also. So the food companies directly buy it from there and can reduce the cost of traveling.
How difficult is it for the farmers? No, I want to ask, how difficult is it for the farmers to build their own storages like you have built?
So, yes, sir, because I think 85% of farmers in India is marginal, small farmers.
Right.
Even, you know, so they don't have, means they have only option to store their communities, to store their houses. Okay. And you know that means houses, how they have built, because
no, why I'm asking this is that I want to understand if there is another business model which you can avail to is wherein you can sell these cold storage boxes to these people, and they can farmers who have enough money and the purchasing power can get these for their own storages. Is it possible?
Yeah, is it possible? But currently we are giving to them so that community wise they can store. Means if I give to one farmer, so it will cost more than. So I think if we work in a community,
what is the capacity of per box?
20 metric tons, sir.
20 metric tons. Okay.
Yeah.
That's big enough. All right. Thank you. It's a wonderful idea. Best of luck.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Any questions from Mr. Pratap? I think he'll post them in the chat, if any. So moving on to the next startup, Eximus Healthcare, represented by Anupam.
Hello, am I audible?
Yes.
Yeah. Hello, everyone. I'm Anupam representing Eximus Healthcare. Today's microbiology diagnostic solutions have a long turnaround time of more than 48 hours. They require significant training and a huge upfront capital investment, which makes their availability limited to the big cities. And this has long-lasting consequences. First of all, long TAT has increased the morbidity and mortality by 20% and healthcare costs by up to 30%. Most importantly, it has led to the emergence of the dreaded superbugs. And if we do not stop these superbugs now, very soon we'll be left with no antibiotics to take care of even simple infections such as urinary tract infections. Fortunately, we have a solution. It's a point of care system consisting of 2 single-use palm-sized devices and a smartphone application. It will take less than 4 hours to give conclusive answers, will involve no capital instrument, and will be simple to use. This is how it all works. For both the devices, it's simple manual sample processing, followed by loading of those devices, followed by color development, and eventually interpretation with the help of a smartphone app, all under 4 hours. So essentially what our solution will do is promote rational use of antibiotics and vastly increase the coverage of microbial testing. And that will be a major step towards sustainable development goal number 3. And it's not just us who think so. Here you can see that our solution will be valuable to solve a very crucial problem related to maternal and child health, that is asymptomatic bacteria. Our top 2 customers consist of healthcare facilities and diagnostic labs, of which there are plenty within India itself. And it's a huge global market worth $6 billion that is expected to grow at 10% annually for the coming 5 to 7 years. Our revenue model is simple. We'll sell those single-use devices. And since our customers have a huge high volume recurring demand for those devices, we are confident to achieve scale. We expect to start earning revenue from the 4th year from now. Compared to our competition, our solution is at least 10% faster and requires no to minimum training to use, such that even community health workers will be easily able to use our solution.
30 seconds left.
We have a competitive advantage in terms of a couple of patent filed technologies and a bunch of proprietary processes and a capable team to execute our grand plan. Within a short span of time, we have achieved a lot, covered a lot of distance. In the couple of last months since we started, we have developed a proof of concept, started a collaboration with a tertiary care center, and interacted with more than 20 customers as a part of customer discovery. We believe that we can conquer this solution together. Come join us in this endearing journey. Thank you.
Over to the jury.
Yes, Anupam. Anupam, I want you to tell me what your product is in layman's language, or maybe in Hindi, in one line. Can you do that?
Sure, absolutely. Let me go back to my previous slide. All right, so it's a rapid point of care test to detect presence of organisms in biological fluids such as urine, and to tell which antibiotics will work against that particular organism in a given patient. The current solutions to give this answer take more than 48 to 72 hours. And within that time, what doctors are forced to do is start empirical therapy, which essentially is nothing but a guesstimate. And that's a very big problem. So we are trying to solve the problem of very long TAT and improve the accessibility of microbiological solution or microbiological testing.
Okay, so when should the patient or maybe the customer use it? As a predictive thing, or maybe after facing some symptoms?
That's a good question. First of all, it's a B2B product. So our customers are going to be, as I said, healthcare facilities, clinicians, and diagnostic labs. So a patient comes to the facility with some symptoms. That's the usual case scenario. And afterwards, the device will be used as a diagnostic tool. However, there are use cases. For example, in case of pregnant females, it will be a predictive device because it's advisable to test them for asymptomatic bacteria at around 11 to 12 weeks of gestation. And no other device can give such a rapid diagnosis for those patients. So it has both diagnostic as well as predictive utility.
Okay, so right now, is it related to majorly urine-based tests? Is it?
To start with, it will be applicable for UTI, but the applicability of this solution is far beyond that. In fact, after interacting with customers, we have realized that its most urgent need is in the ICUs. So we are also developing it for sepsis cases.
Okay, so you'll be incorporating, including blood tests as well, is it?
Yes. So we will be identifying blood pathogens as well.
All right. Who helped you in the medical part of your research?
Yes. Incidentally, yeah, of course. Sure. Incidentally, I'm a medical doctor and a biomedical engineer. So with my experience as a MBBS student and as an intern, I knew how the big problem of AMR is, antimicrobial resistance. And my colleague and our CTO, Rahul, he is a microbiologist. He's a PhD in microbiology. So he has worked on diagnostic solutions before. And together we were aware of this problem of long time to result or long turnaround time of these solutions.
Okay, all right. And what about the cost? How the diagnostic center, do they feel it is affordable?
Right. So we have done our initial study about how much the current solutions are priced at. So we are confident that our pricing will be such that our single-use devices will be priced at par with them. However, since our solution does not have any upfront capital investment, in the long run, it will be more economical for our customers.
Achha. All right. And how is the device? Is it like the Prega News kind of a device? That kind?
Yeah. So,
how does it look like?
Yeah. So we are developing the prototype. So unfortunately, I don't have any pictures to show as of now. However, those are going to be some palm-sized devices, as you can see on the screen over here. So they're quite portable, and there will be some reagents along with those devices that will be loaded on those devices. So it's a very small compact device.
Okay, and the details, how is it connected with the app?
Right. So the smartphone application will be used to first capture the image of the device. We have developed a couple of novel, innovative colorimetric chemistries or reactions, because of which unique colors will develop inside those devices. And that color pattern will be then analyzed by smartphone application to give out the final results.
Okay, so you need the app to get the analysis, right? It cannot be done on your own.
So initially, because it's a colorimetric readout, we thought that probably we could do it manually. But since we know that every person's vision is different, and since it's a high risk device, we do not want to depend on users' vision for the final results. That's why we thought of developing a smartphone app.
Achha. All right. Okay. Thanks. All the best. That's all from my side.
Thank you. Thank you.
I think it's one of the very needed products that you are trying to make right now. And I hope that it comes to the market soon. At what stage are you right now? Have there been any clinical trials of these things which have happened?
Right. So we just started a few months back, right? So we incorporated in August 2021. However, we have covered a lot of distance in this short span of time. We have developed the proof of concept while working at IIT Bombay as a pre-incubator, and while being there, we invested our own money. So we have completely bootstrapped right now and looking for some external funding support right now.
There are no grants that you have applied for as of now?
We have, and we are, in fact, Nidhi Prayas and other grants are open currently. And because there is a, some time to elapse before the results will be out. So we are hoping to get selected there, certainly.
Okay. And what is the timelines that you're looking at?
Right. So we are confident that we will be at TRL 7. That means field or laboratory tested device will be ready within a span of 1.5 to 2 years. After that, it will be a matter of around 1 to 1.5 years to do the clinical trials, and then by the third or to fourth year, we'll launch the device in the market.
Okay. Okay. Great. Thank you, and best of luck.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, Anupam, just one more thing.
Sure.
Yeah, you said it is a single-use device, right?
Yes.
Single-use thing. So use and throw, and it must be a plastic. It must be using plastic as the material, right?
Yes, that's correct.
Yes. Okay. So one thing, single-use things are, you know that it is not good for the environment. Point number one, and two is how would you educate your users to properly dispose it off, because it should not be disposed just casually to stop the infection further. So these 2 points.
These are very two pertinent questions, I would say. First is about environmental effect. So we are very aware of that problem. However, since we have just started, we are right now focusing on developing the technology. Maybe in the future, we will collaborate with some of the wonderful startups that are currently on this board who are working on some material which are environment friendly. Because currently all of the devices that are currently being used in the hospitals, they produce a lot of bio waste as well as environmental waste. The second part is, since our customers are businesses, they are already dealing with such kind of solutions in their daily activity, so they are well aware of about bio waste disposal and stuff.
All right, great. That's all. We can move on to the next participant.
Okay. Thank you so much, Anupam and jury members. So the last participant for today is Team Digi Swasthya, represented by Dr. Pallavi.
Hi, is my screen visible?
Yes, it's visible.
Okay. Thank you so much. And thank you to the jury and everyone else for being so patient. I know that it's lunchtime, so I won't take up much time. May I start?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. So DigiSwasth Foundation is a non-profit organization. It is a Section 8 organization, and it is a social entrepreneurial venture started by Mr. Sandeep Kumar, who is a childhood cancer survivor. So when Sandeep was diagnosed with the Ewing sarcoma, it took him 6 months to receive the proper diagnosis. And this is what happens in most rural districts of India. Since then, he worked for 5 years in different healthcare avenues in different hospitals in Mumbai and received the training that he needed to start DigiSwasth Foundation using his own savings. Then DigiSwast Foundation came to being, and this was a hybrid medical consultation which provides primary healthcare in rural India. So we are addressing the following problems, which is the lack of doctors, lack of facilities, inferior treatment quality, and expensive care, which is often found at large distances in the villages. This is the core team. And we have a robust advisory board, which has experience in leading nonprofits. They come from the medical background and even some tech advisors. So our mission at DigiSwast is to provide healthcare services, make them affordable and accessible for rural communities across India by leveraging technology. This happens at DigiSwast's phygital telemedicine centers, which is a mixture of physical as well as digital. So at DigiSwast, we have two verticals. One is the telemedicine vertical, and the other one is the healthcare awareness. This is the value proposition. We have a cost-light model. It is a scale-ready model. And so far, we have set up 2 telemedicine centers in Uttar Pradesh and in Bihar. These are the services that are provided by us at our centers. We have a referral network with doctors. We provide awareness campaigns, like I mentioned before. We also generate electronic medical records, which is rare even in urban India. And we provide them with a digital prescription. I'll walk you through what a typical teleconsultation process at our center looks like. The patient walks in, somebody at the center, which is our patient navigator, measures the vital signs. So this is the blood pressure, height, weight, using digital devices. Then this information is relayed to a doctor and they are connected through teleconsultation. So using the telemedicine software, an electronic medical record is generated. It is uploaded to a
30 seconds.
cloud. And after that, we also initiate follow-ups with them. We refer them to different hospitals, labs, or pharmacies as per the need. These are some of the images from the center. You can see the teleconsultation is going on. These are the statistics that we have managed to cover so far. These are all the milestones that we have. 1,500 plus consultations. Our COVID-19 Impact Report. This is just one of the success stories that we have at DigiSwast. These are the awareness campaigns. We also have door-to-door campaigns, like you can see in the images.
Your time is up.
Okay. Thank you.
The floor is open for questions.
All right, doctor. Wanted to know, during this pandemic, many telemedicine companies have started and they are doing pretty well. So do you feel that you have many competitors right now? How do you think of, and what is your plan to be, different or maybe do better than them?
So thank you for your question, ma'am. I would like to say that, yes, there are many telemedicine companies. In fact, I used to work for one, and that was a Y Combinator startup. So I left that to start DigiSwast to help it accelerate it, because I believe in the cause of providing these services in rural India. So most of the competitors, most of the players that are there in the market, they cater to the urban audience, and there is nobody who's working on the grassroots. And our team, so the USP, you might ask, what is that? What makes us different? Apart from, providing a physical space where these patients can walk in and they have somebody to help them, somebody to assist them with the technology. There is, the removal of the communication barrier. These patients, they can speak their language because our team is from their community. It is from the villages that they belong to. So our team, our core team, is made up of people that is working at the grassroots, has been living there since forever, and they are familiar with the challenges that are faced, which is very different from what we have in urban India. So, for us, diagnosis is probably just 2 or 3 clicks away. I could download any app and do that. But for people in rural India, like I mentioned, Sandeep's case was just one. There are many people who, for whom it takes months to find just the right diagnosis, not even the treatment plan, not even the treatment.
Right. So regarding the diagnosis part, you were explaining me the flows. So, once the patient walks in through teleconferencing, the doctor would take his case and then suggest few tests, right? Few blood tests or maybe some scans.
Yes.
So do you assist in that as well? If it is not available nearby, how do they do it?
Yes, ma'am. So, ma'am, like I mentioned, that we have referral pathways. So that allows us to connect to hospitals. These are tier 1 hospitals in cities like, Delhi, Bombay, etc. And we also have partnered with the neighboring pharmacies as well as diagnostic labs. So these labs and the pharmacies, they provide a 50% discount to our beneficiaries. We've partnered with them in such a way that, that discount can be availed by our patients at DigiSwast.
Okay, Ajay, you have managed to have this 50% discounting. That would really be great, right?
Yes,
and yes. And what I wanted to know further is, how do you measure their satisfaction level, the customer satisfaction level? Who does that? Is there somebody? Do you have some set parameters?
Yes,
check
Dr.
whether they are really satisfied or not. Yeah.
Yes. So, ma'am, usually what happens is that after the consultation takes place, we, provide a common point of contact. So in case the patient needs anything, they know whom to reach out to, and our team members contact these patients regularly to follow up with them, ask them how they are doing, if they had the medicines or not, if they want to come back for a follow-up. And we have all of that data. Unfortunately, right now, the follow-up rate is, it's about 20%. Only 20% of our patients come back for a follow-up. But we are trying to encourage that, that narrative that, yes, you can come back to the DigiSwast and you should get checked regularly. So we also collect success stories, and we have taken the consent from all of our patients. This is just one of them that I'm showing. So we have a comparative analysis that how much time and money would a patient save if they first visited a DigiSwast telemedicine center versus if they had to travel to the nearest city like Gorakhpur or Lucknow or Mumbai for the treatment. So we found that there is a stark difference, and the patients have built trust. They often refer other people to come and avail our services. So these are just some of the metrics that we use to analyze how well or how bad we're doing.
Okay. And how do you onboard the doctors? Do you pay them per consultation, something like that?
Yes. So, ma'am, some of these doctors provide pro bono services, pro bono consultations, but there are doctors who, would charge, let's say, 2,000 at their hospital. We bring the consultation fee down to 200 at our telemedicine center. So the consultation fee ranges anywhere from 50 to 200. And this depends on the doctor, how much they want to charge. If they want to do it on a case-to-case basis, that is also feasible. So, so far, DigiSwast has been bootstrapped, and we are running on donations. So it enables us to provide these pro bono consultations. And whatever amount we raise, we pay the fees of the doctors in the same way. Again, the doctors are onboarded through our personal networks. Like I mentioned, Mr. Sandeep Kumar, who is a childhood cancer survivor, and he's a social worker, he's a development professional. He was working in hospitals of Mumbai, and he managed to, form this network of doctors that he had. So I'm from the same field. So we are able to, encourage our peers to come and join us, and they're happy to do that.
Okay. Great. You're providing them an avenue to do some pro bono and social work. Just last question from my side. Do you only onboard allopathy doctors, or do you have homeopathy, Ayurvedic, and other doctors as well?
So, ma'am, DigiSwast is trying to do away with practices that are often followed by quacks or unregistered medical practitioners, because it often leads to more harm than good. And to do that, we are focusing more on doctors from hospitals in tier 1 cities. So, the best people who are out there. For homeopathy and Ayurveda, we do have doctors on board, but most of our patients come to us for the allopathy services and not the other, not Ayush services.
Okay. But you have a plan to integrate Ayush services as well.
We do have doctors from Ayush background, yes. In fact, our team members, our on-ground team members, some of them have been trained in homeopathy.
All right. Okay. Thank you, doctor. All the best. Thank you, ma'am. That's all from my side.
I just wanted to ask about the revenue model that you are using right now. Can you give me a brief about it?
Yes, sir. So, sir, since this is a non-profit organization, we don't really have a revenue model as such, but this is the funding that is required to run the center for 12 months. And so the funds required per year to operate an existing center. So now we have 2 centers. So I'm sorry, I think there's background.
There's a disturbance. I can't hear it.
Yes. I would request the host to take me other folks if possible. Thank you.
We didn't get you, Pallavi. What did you say?
Could you kindly mute the other participants? Okay. All right. Thank you. So, sir, I was saying that since we are a non-profit organization, we don't have a revenue model as such, but this is our per center budget. And like I said that our organization is at the moment bootstrapped, as well as it's running on donations, grants, things like that.
Right. I just wanted to point out one thing that you should look into is that there's a difference between an NGO and a social enterprise. Because by all means, a social enterprise needs to have the sustainability over a longer period of time. And that is something that you should look into. And
this is a non-profit social enterprise. It is a Section 8 organization. So we can charge our patients if needed, but they don't have enough funds to buy 2 square meals a day. So that is why we have a model of this kind.
That's why you'll have to explore into different other ways through which revenue can be generated, because one of the slides when I was going through said that somebody spent 10,000 rupees somewhere, and at DG Swasth they spent only 1,200 rupees, which included the medicines. So while you do the telemedicine, I think it's very also important that it could become a revenue generating stream for the organization, because medicines at any point of time are to be purchased. Of course, the costs are much higher when you get them from the clinics or the pharmacies which are attached to the clinics. One, you could provide a discount to these customers. Other, that you could also generate some revenue for the organization from it.
So, sir, to have a pharmacy, you need a license, and that is something that we are not considering right now because it would be too much for a young organization like ours. So instead, we've partnered with the pharmacies to provide that discount to these patients. As for other revenue streams that are there, so we do charge the patients, the ones who can afford the consultations, even though it is a very nominal fee, but still it's something, because accessible. I mean, healthcare is what we're trying to do is a generational change. So we don't expect immediate results. But we're hoping that soon they will get into the practice of paying for these services instead of going to unregistered medical practitioners.
I definitely understand the idea and wish you all the luck and hope that you succeed, because it's a noble cause that you're getting into. My only suggestion would be that please try to make it self-sustainable, not a somebody dependent on the donors as and when the money comes in, you'd be able to help, but a self-sustaining model. Otherwise, it's a wonderful work. Congratulate you and the team. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. So another thing that I would like to add, sir, because you talked about the self-sustainable model, is that we're planning to build a franchisee network of sorts. But again, I know that that is going to take some time, wherein we can have healthpreneurs in their respective villages starting a DigiSwast telemedicine center, and we could help them set it up.
Great. Wish you.
Thank you, sir.
Great. Thank you, Dr. Pallavi, and thanks to jury members. So yes, this was the last presentation that we had, and amazing presentations to all of you. And thank you, jury members, Ms. Richa, Mr. Irtif, Mr. Pratap. Mr. Pratap is facing some issues. I would request our jury members to please share a quick closing thought, and then we can proceed towards the end of the event. Mr. Irtif, please go ahead.
Thank you, Anupama. As always, it has been a wonderful session and more of a learning session for me as well, because there have been quite tremendous ideas that were shared today by all of the startups who are trying to do something which is very useful for the society as a whole. And I hope and wish that I see many of them coming up in future and playing a bigger role in saving the entire humanity that we need to do and get together for. I also extend my wishes to the team of Misfits for doing all these, for doing these pitching sessions, which are very important for getting us to a level where we could understand how far we are going in the global ecosystem of startups. Also, to all the startups that have been present here, if there's any help that they would require, I would extend all the help from the incubator I come from the organization I come from, and also in case some of them are ready to raise funds for equity basis, I would be very willing to help them, to connect them to the couple of angel investors with and the venture capital firms which are trying to help these kind of startups. Thank you very much again for the invite. Thank you.
Great. Thanks a ton, Irtif. Okay, over to you, Ms. Richa.
Yes. First of all, thank you, Misfits, for this opportunity. It is always a pleasure to be associated with Misfits in some or the other way. So today I had this pleasure of evaluating the 8 Misfits, and I must say all 8 of them were unique in their own field. They had this beautiful thought of helping the society at their core, and all of them looked very dedicated and very much into whatever they are doing. This kind of commitment was pretty visible in their presentation and the kind of answers they were giving. Amazing commitment. I am pretty sure all of them would do great in life, and with this thought of helping the society, I'm sure it has inspired me as well, and a few of my students were also attending this session. They are pretty happy, pretty inspired. So you all are an inspiration. I wish all the best to all of you, and from Misfits and from my side, from my management college, I would also like to connect with all of you. If some of you are trying to outreach to Nagpur location, then kindly connect to Misfit Nagpur or maybe to me. I would be happy to provide you that kind of outreach here. And thank you, everyone. All the best.
Thank you, Richa. Thanks for these kind words. So yes, today we had health and hardware startups pitching, and like few days back, the day 2, we covered agri and edtech based startups, and the coming Thursday on 25th November, the day 4 of the Misfits Mega Pitch event, will be having livelihood and environment based startups. So yes, then we'll move towards the day 5, which is the finale of Misfits 2021 cohort, where we'll be announcing the top 3 winners of Misfits 2021 cohort. And yeah, please stay tuned. All of you, please stay tuned and stay connected with us on our social media platforms to get regular updates about what's happening in Misfits. With this, I would like to end this event here. And again, thanks a ton to everyone.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you.